Okay, so testing, making sure that this microphone is picking up nothing else but me. Wonderful! So this isn't the best microphone in the world, but as we said in the previous video, we are doing it no matter what the circumstances are. We are standing raw and authentically in our truth, showing up because that's all that matters. So hello, hey honeybees, welcome back to my channel. It's Kari here, or Sheflowered, whichever suits you best. Anyways, we're back because we want to keep this momentum flowing, and I actually realized that after filming my first YouTube video in a little bit of fright and with not enough planning, there was a few things that I missed out that I felt like I could have mentioned. Please excuse the mess in the background. As you can see, I am honestly just like fulfilling my intention and doing it with integrity. So we had a little bit of issues today with the lighting and whatnot, and this is just gonna have to be the setup today. Like, I'm not even using my back camera. Shambles, I know. You know, we move, okay? We're humans, so we gotta start somewhere, and I'm hoping that I can just like somehow cover the background so you guys don't have to see what is going on behind me right now, because it is absolutely atrocious. And if I could have it my way, it wouldn't be this way, right? So without further ado, essentially in this video, I'm peeling back the layers a little bit more, one layer at a time, one petal at a time. We are unfurling, you know, in true she-flowered essence. Essentially just sharing a little bit more about the journey that brought me here to where I am today, and deciding to show up on YouTube, to being here right now, like literally where I am in the present moment, to this sacred garden, and to you. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Let's keep it moving. First things first, who am I? So my name is Kari, as I've already previously said, also known as Sheflowered, also known as your local love dealer or your heart-led hype woman. You know, yeah, dig. I'm an embodiment coach, dedicated and devoted and passionate about guiding you to uncover and express and embrace your most authentic you. I'm passionate about guiding others to reconnect with their authentic selves. Notice I said reconnect, because we are always born the seed that we are destined to be. However, this world has a way of clouding our judgment, putting a veil in front of our eyes, ensuring that we don't meet our highest potential. I'm here to break that narrative. I'm here to change that narrative. I'm here to help you reconnect to your authentic blueprint and to deepen the connection that you have with your inner voice, because it is really your inner voice that's going to guide you forward in alignment with your authentic divine blueprint. Everybody has one. Everyone's on a different pathway, but it's about leaning further into your unique narrative and how you can unearth the gems that are deep within you that you've just laid and layered with conditioning. I don't know, like how else to put that, as in ready to take on the responsibility of great success. Very similar to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but within that self-actualization, removing the veil of the processes and the steps that allow each and every one of us to get to that place of reconnecting with who we already are. The funny thing about life is that if I was to describe life in any way, I've always thought it to be like April Fools every single day of the year, because the reason why I think this is because I've learned that we have undergone so much conditioning from the moment we are conceived, not even out the womb, because we are living, breathing, heart-beating specimens of a human being within the womb space, whilst the world is still going on outside of us. Just because we haven't been born into the world yet doesn't mean life hasn't started, right? And we are already taking in data beyond our like conscious awareness as we know it now, like in a later part of life as an adult, past 7 years old, into teenagehood, into adulthood. You following? Okay, so this is just like my take on this, so hear me out. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, just leave it. It's cool. No questions asked, no hard feelings. It's all Gucci. Where was I going with this? Oh my goodness, I need to stop going off on tangents, because welcome to my mind. Hold on, let's rewind. April Fools. Yeah, so I've noticed that because of all the conditioning, you hear a lot of people talking about how we must unlearn all of this conditioning, right? All of this trauma, We need to unlearn and peel back the layers. Why? So we can get to the core of ourselves, so we can access with ease the core of who we are. If we're unable to access the core of who we are, then how can we fulfill our unique blueprint here on this earth? It's not possible. It's not possible. Okay, so the easiest way to do that is to consciously activate yourself and take action to making that happen. It's painful because we have so many layers of shit piled up upon ourselves to the point where we're like, our head is like floating above water, yeah, but it's like in this muddy, thick, nasty water, and it's too scary to look down because you don't know where you're going. I like this analogy, I like where it's going, okay? But at the end of the day, if your shit stinks, who's gonna clean that up, hun? Who? You've got to be the one to do it. Pluck up the courage, okay? Because courage can't exist without fear. We all know that it's scary to dive deep within, to do the shadow work, okay? But someone's got to do it, and if it's not gonna be you, well, see you in the next life, hun, because unfortunately, the game doesn't work this way. So, where I'm going with this is April Fools, 365 days a year, every single year, because this is the easiest mathematics to understanding life, in my humble opinion, okay? Tell me otherwise, I'm open to listening. The reason why I say this is because April Fool's Day is a lot about making jokes that aren't real, okay? Or doing the opposite. It's like, or maybe I'm thinking of opposite day. Either way, it's the same shit, okay? I just feel like we've learned life backwards. And so the key to understanding life and really getting life right is to reverse psychology everything you've learned. It's not stupid. It's not illogical, because the real logic as we know it is what's illogical, and that is moving us, it's pushing us away from our blueprint. It's pushing us away from all the embodied knowledge that we have within, that exists all around us, making us believe that we need to seek when everything is already here. But we need to learn how to access it. We need to learn how to unlock those tightened bolts of knowledge, okay? And I'm here to be another person in this beautiful art school to guide each other home back to ourselves, okay? Girl, it's time to move beyond. It's time to expand. Are you with me, or are you with me? Okay, that's what I thought. I feel like I've gone off on a tangent there again. Was I talking about who I am, or what do I want to bring into this world? Because I honestly feel like there's very much an interconnectedness between all of it. Outside of that, I am an artist. I like to call myself an artist because I'm a woman of many talents. You know, people like to ask me what I do, and I sometimes struggle with answering that very directly because it depends on the day. Honestly, I'm very much embodied with how I feel, and whatever flows goes. So sometimes I like to say that I am a cosmic orgasmic being just floating in the abyss, because I mean, if that is nothing but the truth, I don't know what is. Literally, if we want to go back to science, if we want to get all scientific, I think that's a great description of who I am. At one with the all, interconnected with you, and the next one and the next one. You are a reflection of me, I'm a reflection of you. What you see in me is because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, okay? You know that saying? So essentially, what you're projecting from your internal inside vision, okay, through your retina display, you're projecting a display at the end of the day, and whatever you're seeing is coming from within you, even though it's existing outside of you, okay? The same goes with the idea that thought is the beginning of physical manifestation, okay? I know we're going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but as I said, we're here to do things a little bit differently. I'm stepping into my authentic truth. I'm leaning into my unique narrative, and I am definitely not here to follow the next person and the next person. I am willing to stand up, show up, and welcome and receive the right people who are meant to be here. So I'm not trying to be for everybody. There was a time and a place where I thought that I needed to be for everybody, and I've recently discovered how untrue and unnecessary, and how much of that gets yourself in your own way. Girl, I just had to tell my old self, like, girl, you need to move out the way real quick, because Sheflowered 2.0 is on the horizon. We are here. Okay, so enough going off on a tangent. So that's a little bit about who I am. I'm currently based in London. This year has been nothing short of like just been up and down all over the place. Like I've literally been in like 5 different locations, if not more, this year. It's just been so wild. Don't worry, we will get into that. If you want to know, drop a comment down below and I will get into it. Okay, we are going to be answering questions, we are going to be doing things together, so please don't be shy. If I was to think about a word that best describes me, I would have to say the first thing that came to my mind just now was Venusian. If you haven't watched my previous video, get to know, because I lightly touch on that there. Okay, and so hear me out. I've recently tapped into the idea that I am heart, mind, body, soul, a Venusian queen. And I didn't even realize, like, I didn't even realize it until halfway through this year. And I'm so grateful that I've come into this knowing that it makes so much sense. Like, I now understand why my life is unfolded the way it is, why I'm always preaching and searching about love. Like, whilst I'm always learning about love, whilst I'm so infatuated about love, whilst I am just taking the time to uncover what love really means to me and redefine it for myself, because for me it's one of my top 2 values alongside authenticity. And girl, like, if you want to know my big 3, I feel like I could just tell you, but do I want to spill all the tea just like that? Like, maybe we need to give you guys some mystery in this bitch, because it's not every day just spill all the beans. Sometimes hold them back and wait for the right moment. And it's crazy to me because as someone who's loved astrology, I don't know how I missed this, but I understand that the teacher shows up when the student is ready, and boy, have I been ready. And like, yeah, I think it ties into what I want to bring into the world, being the Love is Garden, a passion project that I've been working on very slowly and intentionally, building the groundworks, building the foundations for what it is I see as a vision. And this has been ongoing since 2019, quite literally. Even though I haven't always outwardly spoken about it, I may have shared pieces here and there with certain people, but it's been something I've kept very close to my heart, because I've really wanted to ensure that I was on this path for the right reason. Not even that I was on the path for the right reasons, but I just had to exercise my capacity to really bring this into fruition. And in order to do so, I had to make sure that I was clear within myself of the reasons why I'm doing it and what I want to see. Okay, very, very down to the details of what this space is to look like. And I'm really, I want to build this space because it's something that my inner child has always wanted for herself. And it's almost like I am bringing this into the world is something that I realized from young that was needed, not just for the world, but for myself. It's something that I've sought for myself, and who better to create something that I have internalized as something that I need? Me. So this is the gift, and I think this is what comes with understanding what your unique blueprint is in the world, because when you tap into that space, you realize it's actually so simple, but all you need to do is build the courage to make it happen. Also, when I think about it, the beginning of this year, my intention was, I'm going to try and find it and stitch it here somewhere, but my intention was to step and live in my full embodied self. That was my intention this year, alongside making sure to really rest the fuck up. Like, rest the fuck up. RST, rest the fuck up. Oh my god, I'm so dyslexic. Rest the fuck up. Rest the fuck up. RTFU. RTFU. Okay, rest the fuck up. So basically, what that really means is radicalizing rest and realizing how important it is to rest. We've come into a culture where, most often than not today, people think when you're relaxing, it's bad. People look down on people who are relaxing, but at the same time, look up to those that they are inspired by and idolize, who get to chill and live their best lives and think that that's okay for them. But because they feel mentally that they're so far away from that lifestyle that it's, not attainable, that they look down at the next person, the people that they love, the people within their close circles. Like, if you're chilling too much, then you're doing something wrong. Because we're in this cuckoo land of what I think everyone's just confused. Okay, everyone's confused. I think, like, if I was to describe this world, it would be April Fool's 24/7. Like, I think we've learned things backwards. There's a reason for that. I feel like because we've learned things, ain't no way this microphone has been turned off this entire time. Ain't no motherfucking way. Well, saying not today, because this is just what it's gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to keep a close eye on this green little thing here, because I am so sorry, guys. If the
Game over.
I can't believe that's happened. Basically, the audio for half of everything I've said is just completely cut off, so I'm gonna have to re-record things, even though that wasn't my intention, and I don't even remember what I was talking about. But thank goodness for the prompts that I have, which I was saying somewhere at the end of that was, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm reading my prompts. We gotta start somewhere, and yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know, full disclosure, I am not cheating, if there is even such a thing when it comes to YouTube. I don't know, but yeah, so I'll be reading from my prompts, and hopefully this time around, I'm sorry if the audio is worse or whatever, but bear with me. Each video should be better than the last, okay? So whilst my little cute microphone is on charge, sad, because I was really vibing with that. Like, it was giving main character energy. I was feeling like I was a spokesperson on my own show, as I should be. So now I'm gonna share a little bit about my personal evolution and what brought me to where I am right here, right now. Essentially, what led me to becoming an embodiment coach per se, is my whole life's journey, my whole life's work of unlearning, relearning, going down the psychology route, understanding that I've always had a deep curiosity to learn about humans, their behavior, myself, the people around me. I've just always been so inquisitive about life. I've always felt resonant with the saying that I'm a student of life, because I just love learning. I'm so curious. I love to dabble in literally every little thing that I can get my hands on. I think it's exciting and it's fun. We're here to have fun. We're here to explore. Like, I literally have this hieroglyph at the back of my ear. It's a symbol that means explore. So there you go. A little bit more about me. But when I really think about it, I think what led me to pursue this journey is the little girl. Like, when I close my eyes, I literally see my 3-year-old version of self who knew nothing at all, but so much, and just couldn't articulate it. Like, I was receiving so much wisdom through my life experiences, through what I saw, through what I felt in my childhood. And it was, I was storing that data. And contrary to popular belief, I will always stand by, we need to stop underestimating children, their knowledge, what they know, because whilst they may not have the words to articulate it, they are so much closer to the spirit realm. They have literally just come through, okay, like almost pure, if you want to call it that, but like less. It's so funny because I watched Divergent like literally the other day, and I binge watched 1 to 3, and they use the term pure and damage to differentiate between the different like types of humans. It's kind of controversial, I know. Within this context, I feel like it makes sense to talk about children as pure when they've just come into the earth, because they are free from conditioning for the most part, based on 3D knowledge, okay, based on third dimensional ways of being and how we understand life. I think that resonates. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with this, so I'm just gonna keep it moving. One thing led to another. I hit a very pivotal point in my life. I was, I think, between 14 to 16 years, and I was just like so over so many things that I hit a rock bottom the first time this deeply in my life, where I was actually going through depression for the first time. I was experiencing all the symptoms of depression. I would literally remember going to sleep whenever I faced like an internal battle or an internal mental challenge, or something external to me posed as some kind of threat or challenge. I was like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this, I'm going to bed. Like, literally, that was my life. I would force sleep upon myself because I was so done trying to do things from a place of genuine curiosity and love. Like, I felt like I was being met with resistance, and eventually I was just like, well, I don't have the answers, so I'm just gonna go to sleep. And this became very bad, as you can imagine, because I was just sleeping away my life and putting myself into this helpless state. And that became repetitive to the point where it just really decomposed my sense of self. And I think now when I think about it, in many ways that really needed to happen, because clearly I had become so clouded that I didn't even know who I was. And I think the only way for me to start beginning to remember who I was to get to that point of like combustion, of like, this isn't going to work anymore, so let everything fall and crumble to the ground, and feel shit about it, and feel so shit about it that you hit the rock bottom again, and you're like, oh, okay, now what? It can't get any worse than this, right? Well, be careful what we ask, because honestly, life is a trip. I moved to the UK at 17. I left home quite abruptly. I'm not going to get into all the details, but essentially during those years, the first couple of years I was in the UK, I went through another series of rock bottoms, and it got to the point where I was like, I don't know who to seek help from anymore. So I just started begging or praying out openly. I was just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I was at such despair that I couldn't even keep it inside anymore. I was just like saying it out loud, like, please, like, I need help, like, somebody, something, show me the way. I even bought a Bible because I thought that was going to be the answer to everything. And some of you might say that was the right thing to do and that it probably was the answer to everything, but I can't say for sure that that specifically was the answer to everything. I think it was more of the taking the action of recognizing that I need support and I can't do it alone. Okay, I need to ask for help, even if it's not like directly to somebody. I need to take action and be willing to accept help in some form. And I think this ties into like the spiritual realm of how we're all interconnected, because energy doesn't die. Okay, so in many ways you could say that I was calling upon my ancestors for the first time. I was like, somebody turn the lights on because I'm tired of this darkness. And yeah, like one thing led to another, and I feel like I am speaking very around the fence of this journey at the moment, rather than like all the little pieces inside of it, but we'll get there. I'm a storyteller, okay, if you can already tell. I can't believe this video is at 20 minutes. I'm only on prompt number 3. Why haven't I done YouTube sooner? This is what I want to know. This is crazy. This is actually crazy. Psychology really came from a place of wanting to learn more about myself, the people around me. I wanted to be of service. I felt called to be of service. I've always, like throughout life, I always found that people always came to me with their problems, with their issues, asking for advice, wanting to seek solace, wanting a friend to listen. And I think I take pride in that, because when I really sit with it, I realize that they felt comfortable enough to do that with me. And that's a really beautiful thing. So I am not going to take that for granted anymore. I see my power, I see my capabilities, and that is how I essentially came into the position of recognizing that coaching was a calling. Coaching is a calling. For me, it's not just something I do, it's something I feel like pulled by. I've been on this journey for so long, and I've really experienced so many ups and downs, so many trials and tribulations, and since nothing has knocked me off this path, I still come back to it like, yes, this is what I want to do, yes, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. And this is how I know it's unshakable. This calling is unshakable. It is literally sitting at the pits of my stomach like, girl, if you don't do this, why are you living? It's that real. Like, it's, yeah. Another element of why I think I was called to go down the psychology route was because, being that I'm such a curious person, from very young, people always had to make a statement about how I was like this airy fairy, how I was like always living in my own world, or like, why are you so happy? You're always so happy all the time. Like, people had a problem with it, or maybe they didn't, but it definitely came across to me like they did, because of the delivery of how they were asking me these questions. Like, it was a problem, like I shouldn't be this way. And I just remember, like, after years and years of experiencing that, I really had to ask myself, like, why is it such an issue for people that I am happy, like that I am pursuing joy, that I'm creating joy, that I'm actively seeking joy? Why is it such a problem? Can anybody answer that question for me? Because I'm still wondering. No, I'm not really, but I really had to check myself, because I was like, is something wrong with me? Obviously, I know that that's not the case anymore, but at those times, it was very detrimental to my health for a split moment. And in terms of creative expression, I feel like I've barely touched the surface of my creative expression. And I know this because where I've given myself spaces of time to create, free flowing, or whether I did art GCSE, I then also did A-level GCSE, like I have always felt called to express myself through mediums of art, various mediums of art. I also feel that coaching is an art form. I feel like everything in this life is a form of art, if you ask me personally, which again, I think is a beautiful thing and ties into wanting to create more beauty in this world, okay? I hope this gives you clues as to what my big three is, because I'm dashing away clues like left, right, and center. Make sure you guess in the comments below. Let's play this game. And for me, when it came to doing my GCSEs and having to choose, okay, starting to think about which direction in life I wanted to take, I remember very clearly what I loved doing and how I was trying to figure out how I wanted to shape my future, but without having the real building blocks, because when I was choosing my GCSEs, I had no idea that psychology as a field even existed. I think I learned about psychology as a field when I was choosing my A-levels, and in my school at the time, they didn't offer psychology, so they didn't actually have that for me to take on. So my closest bet at the time was doing biology. I just did like art-based things, but I remember always wanting to do art or dance at uni. And before that, I believe I wanted to do like fashion journalism, because I was quite into like the idea of doing fashion and like writing or whatever. Low-key do feel like I kind of stole that from my mum, or like my mum sort of planted those seeds in my brain, because I also know that she wanted to do journalism. If she didn't, I can't remember. I don't think she did. Mum, you can let me know, because yeah, I don't know. But if you can see this thread kind of, you know, coming together, I decided to do psychology on the basis that it's a good foundation to have, to understand more about the human psyche, about human behavior, about how to interact with people. I felt like it would be an amazing tool to better connect with individuals and to better understand myself and bridge the gaps that we have amongst humanity. And I told myself, like, if I want to get into art and dance, I can do that. I don't need to necessarily go and study it at university in order to like get better at it, right? So I told myself, look, if I really want to do this, I will do this outside of uni, and hopefully one day I can find a way to bring all of these passions together. And that's how coaching has come about. And it's really exciting because at each stage of my journey, I was not aware what was coming. Like, I met each new stage of the unfolding of my journey when I got to that point in time. Like, before I understood psychology, I was like, vaguely, this is what I want to do. And then somebody told me about psychology and I was like, oh my god, dang, this is exactly it. Like, yes. And then I got to psychology and I was like, for the whole 3 years of my degree, I was like, what the hell am I doing? I love psychology. I think all the different facets of psychology are amazing. It's, you know, as a curious person, I want to learn all about it, but at the same time, I didn't feel called towards any one area. I was like, I don't want to do criminology, like it's cool, but it doesn't really feel like my jam. Clinical psychology feels like, yeah, okay, I get it, it's helpful, but also doesn't really feel like my jam. And then literally in my last term, in my last module, in my last year, I learned about positive psychology and I was like, girl, is the universe speaking to me? Because I think she is. And literally from that point onwards, I was like, yes, la 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 la, everything was singing. And then 4 years forward, COVID, blah blah blah, then I went in to do my master's in positive psychology and coaching. And the funny thing about this is when I left university in 2018 and I graduated with my bachelor's of science in psychology, I knew in that moment in time that I wanted to pursue positive psychology, but I had also endured a lot of educational burnout. So I was really like, I need to take a break from this because there is no way I'm going into a passionate degree like feeling the way that I am, because I felt the calling. I felt the call in that moment. I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. I literally had a light bulb moment. Ask anybody who I've taught this story or the people who were there if they even remember. I just remember it being in the class, being the first lecture, and the lecturer started talking about what positive psychology was. My brain lit up and I was like, to my peers, like, this is it, this is what I want to do, oh my god. It was like a eureka moment. I was just so gobsmacked. Like, I was so grateful that I finally found where my place was in this world, and the rest is history. So yeah, I think we should wrap it up here because I'm looking at my camera right now and it's telling me 27 minutes and I'm like, huh, honey, we did not come here to sit for 40 minutes, because I definitely know I've been sat for 10 minutes prior to this before my broke down. And look at the light, it's like slowly leaving. God, guys, I like to talk. This is gonna be a hellhole to edit, that's all I know. This is just telling me that I need to plan better for each of these video sessions, because I have things to say and it's just like blah, 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 word vomit all the time. So I need to, like, yeah, rein it in, girl. Let me try and wrap this up in a way that feels kind of nice though, so we're not just left on a cliffhanger. But essentially, artistic expression is something I've always held the seed for from as early as I can remember. I just remember the visions that were placed in my heart from youth, from like 1, 2, 3, and it's just it. Because like, listen, I just have the vision of me being this artist in the tropics, like painting, expressing, doing all the things. And also I grew up watching dance films, which is another thing that shaped me, like shaped my soil of growth for my seeds. It was fine art and dance. Those were like the first loves of my life in terms of creativity and passion. I read my reports from nursery about like my artistic expression, how I had this like ability to stay within the lines from, you know, when coloring from such a young age, small things like that. And I think it just, you know, shows little seeds of like, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. And I've spent my whole life unlearning my conditioning, my trauma, learning how to better connect with myself so I can better connect with others, learning about the fundamental human necessities when it comes to connection, rewiring my brain to tap into that and help others tap into. Okay, spreading light wherever we go. Everything I touch turns to gold. That's the vibe. And so yeah, it goes without saying, coaching has been the bridge that is allowing me to bring all of those parts of myself together into one. I have struggled throughout life with a million different social media accounts, a million different creative cool names that I've gone by, just trying to figure out which one sits well with me. Because another thing is, I've always been taught, like I grew up in the era where being a master of many wasn't cool. Like, actually, you're the master of none, because that is not better than a master of one. But they forgot to tell us the whole freaking quote, did they not? Please. And now since I'm like, actually, I'm a full spectrum baddie. Like, I'm not here to give you 1, 8, 6. No, we want to give you 1 through to 10. And that's on that, period. Oh my god, it's dramatically darker in here. I really believe that we're all capable of flourishing and connecting to our core essence, and my mission is to guide others in doing just that. So please, if this is speaking to you, make yourselves known, because the time is now. Have you looked outside lately? The world is screaming your name. We need you in your full, bright, indigenous light. That's what came through, so that's what's gonna be said, okay? And yeah, so like, I hope you get a little bit more of a feel of who I am, why I am, and what we're doing. And yeah, essentially this channel is a reflection of my heart and soul's work, like without adding too much spice and flavor to my way of saying it. Like, it's just so simple. This is me, and I'm so honored to share it with you. So without further ado, let's explore, connect, and grow together. Until next time.